Hershel, what do you think about Darlington Raceway these days?
It's different than it was 73 years ago. No, it looks pretty nice. It's hard to imagine all the improvements and everything they've done. I was here, of course, as you guys know, I ran the first race here in 1950. And we pretty much ran down, on the flat track and not up on the bank. The second year, I was here in 51 too, we started running a little higher. But up close to the rail, the blacktop, there was rock sticking out. When they blacktopped it, they did get them all crushed. And I was a little afraid to be hard on tires, so I ran a little under that. So it's a lot different nowadays. Yeah.
So that story about the lady in black, did that come from the black top that they used to put on the track?
Oh, I don't know if that was a connection or not, but Herb Thomas, he was the one that really started up high, got next to the rail and got the, would always get the stripes on the side of the car, running that close in them days. Now, I guess if these guys get up there, they're kind of in trouble. They hit it very hard. So.
In the truck race, the winner was thrown back to you. Is it a little bit of an honor to have some of the younger drivers throwing back to your paint schemes?
Oh, it really was. That was, Bill McAnally, I used to drive for him a few years back, and he asked me about the throwback thing. And so it was quite an honor. They painted that car up with the roses. The first car that I drove here was the same car that I won the Pan American Road Race with. And when we left, we didn't have a sponsor or anything. We just thought Portland is known as the city of roses, so we painted the roses on there. And of course, that followed through. So it was the same year I won the Pan American, and also come back here and ran the first race. Of course, we drove from Portland here and run the race and drove home. And I did that twice. I did that in 51 too. And people can't imagine it, but in them days, they didn't have all the big motels and stuff we got nowadays. They had these little places you could rent for $6, $7 a night, but I carried a pillow on the, we had bench seats. There was no bucket seats in the cars in them days. So I always had a pillow, and I'd run 3 or 4 hours, stop, sleep for a little while, and get up and go again. I get cross country pretty good.
You think you could beat the drivers today if you were a little younger?
Pardon? Come again?
You think you could beat today's drivers if you were a little younger?
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but you always think that you could do that, and I can't get racing out of my system, and of course I'm only 95, so I got a while to go yet, I guess. But I always feel like I could get a car to do pretty good. But I think with the technology and everything that they're doing, I feel that I drove in a just different area. I mean, the current drivers today, like over where I talked to some of them, they can't imagine how much that I would run around the country just to race. And of course, I was always a West Coast guy. And the reason, if you go back, the media, everything is East Coast, the pictures and the movies. I ran dozens and dozens of Winston West races, but we didn't have the cameras, we didn't have the video, we didn't have the PR that you guys get. That's why if you look at my resume, it doesn't all look that hot. I don't think, even when I read it myself, but I won a lot of races, short track races, that's not on the records. We didn't keep track in them days, so. But I was happy to come back and do what I did. My affiliation with Bill France Sr. was beyond. You can tell when you have a feeling for people, and him and I got along really, really good. I had in '54 when I came back and ran 17 races. I flew a lot with him in an airplane doing PR. I'm not a mechanic, never had it, but I don't like to get that dirty, for one thing. And them days, everybody wore coveralls pretty much in a race car, and because they worked on their own cars and so forth. And I didn't work on mine much. I changed tires and did all the service stuff. But as far as trying to make them race, I drove pretty much what's off the street. So that made a big difference. But running around with Bill in the airplane, and I would go 2 or 3 days ahead. And that's when television was just starting in '54, pretty much. It wasn't out to the West Coast much yet, but it was on the East Coast. And I do radio work, and so that's how I became such a NASCAR fan, was being close to him to start with. And the other day, when I got in the Hall of Fame, Jim France put my coat on. And he said, "I wish my dad could be here." So I said, "Well, Jim, how old were you?" He says, 6. So, there's a lot of history. Goes back. I have so many stories. Hard to get them all in print.
Is there a driver today who reminds you of yourself back in the day?
Pardon?
Is there a driver from today who reminds you of yourself?
Well, I had Richard. I'll tell you at the end of the day if I give you the answer. I tell you, I was on the Throwback thing, the truck that the kid won. That kid was awesome Friday night. I don't usually watch the truck races, but I watched that one because it was a throwback of the Oldsmobile that I drove here in 1950, with the roses and everything on it. And that kid did a great job, and so it was pretty nice. On the winner's circle, I looked up and I see my name on the door. So that was different.
You're still getting in the car in a few years, right? Getting back in the car.
Yeah. I have a promise of 100. I'll drive a car when I'm 100, and I'll see how that goes. Richard Childress is one of them, and Bill McInerney the other. Got two offers, so I'll probably do it. But I think I'll probably drive a late model, maybe for a few races ahead of time, and get myself acclimated, make sure I could get it out of the car all right. So I'm pretty healthy, but I can't walk very good. I got the stuff in my legs, but I use a walker for stability. But I feel good. I ride a motorcycle or a tricycle a lot at home. So I do stuff the younger guys do all the time. So I have fun.
So as you talk about the drivers of this generation, is there any advice that you would give any of the drivers from your many years of experience?
Say that again.
Is there advice that you would give some of this new generation of drivers?
Yes. I would say when you win a race, quit doing the spin outs. I'm tired of the spin outs, I love Carl Edwards. He did something different. He did a backflip, and I'm sure they could figure out something. Now the 5 car did something different the other day. He did a reverse spin out, spinning his wheels around the track. Where was that at? I don't remember.
Martinsville?
But I thought they don't need to do that. And another thing I think would be nice if after a race, interview first, second, and third. Because second and third work just as hard as that guy that won the race. And I think they deserve, especially sometimes a guy that's been leading all day ends up, second or third, some guy beat him. I think that would be helpful. That's what I like about Formula One. They do that, and all 3 guys, you get to talk to them. So there's a few things I think they could change that I would like. I don't have much to say about it. But.
What's it like being here this weekend with all the other 75?
In that room, I had guessed out of the first 50, which I was in 97. I know 30 of them were dead that I knew. That left 20. And then, of course, we got the 25 in. So I figured 20 of 25 would be here. And I thought 15 of the first 50 would be here, so that's 35. I missed it by 3 or 4. There was 31, I think, in the room there a while ago. But to be in that room with the guys that I ran with, which is there was only 6 or 7 guys that were in the first 50 that were here. So a lot of them maybe are home, maybe they're still alive, but somebody probably has all that information. But to be in that group was quite an honor for me. And so many of them have complimented me on my speech at the Hall of Fame that I was inducted in, in January. So it's a very, very humbling experience for me.
Hershel, your best finish here was the next year in 1951. What do you remember about the Griffin Motors ride you took to fourth place here?
Yeah, I know. They didn't pay me any money. There was no money involved, just they helped me on my crew, and which was good. So that was worth a lot to me because, they ended up fourth place. So that's okay.
NASCAR history has got a lot to do with you. Being such a historical track.
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.